Hello, welcome to this week's Bring Back Paper, and this week I wanted to share with you a book haul. I bought quite a few new books in the last couple of weeks, so I wanted to tell you about those. And firstly, just to kick off, just to tell you about this in my hand here. This is National Book Token's new token where you can get them personalised, which I think is a fabulous idea. As you can see, this one's got the kids on, the blog address there, the Reading residence down there. And I just love that. I love getting book tokens anyway as a present. I think it's a nice present to receive and a nice one to give. And I think just by being able to personalise it, just gives it that extra little special touch. So I love that. I've already spent that. And I just wanted to get the token back because it's a nice one to keep. Okay, so on to the books that I have bought this month. So with this book token here, I popped into Waterstones when my husband and I had a weekend away. So he settled in, found a chair while I had a little mooch about. And the first book that I picked up in there was Peter James, The House on Cold Hill. I adore Peter James books. The thing that I find with Peter James books, and I do know myself with these, is once I pick one up, that's it. You know, he's one of those authors where once you're in, and you just read it quite quickly. This one's also quite slim as well. So I thought, oh, that one looks a good one. It's a classic haunted house story. I only picked this up a couple of weeks ago. I started to read it over the weekend and I read it within the weekend. It is just one of those books. I really enjoyed this. I would definitely recommend that. If you're a Peter James fan, you will not be disappointed. Classic family moving into an old dilapidated house, a ghost story type of book. Really enjoyed that. So yeah, that's a new one, but it doesn't have to be added to my to be read pile, my ever-growing to be read pile, because I've already read it and loved it. Okay, there's Peter James. The next book that I picked up, I decided when I was wandering around Waterstones to just pick up things that I mightn't ordinarily try as well. Obviously Peter James, I know I'm getting there. I fancied one of those. This is, I'd not heard of this book, by Marie Brennan. In Ashes Lie. I was drawn to it because this is part historical, part sci-fi fantasy, because it's set in, if I can turn that over for you, it's set in 1666, which is, I enjoy 17th century history in Britain. It's around what's happening above. Of course, in 1666 there was the Great Fire of London. But this actually isn't talking so much about what's happening above. It's talking about the fairy court, which is happening underneath the city of London. And this is saying that actually it was something that happened underneath, that really the spirit of the fire itself was happening in the Fay pit. So it's quite unlike anything I would normally pick up. Talks about mortal and Fay having to lay aside the differences that divide them and fight together for the survival of London itself. I thought that's not something I would normally choose. It combines, I do like fantasy every now and again, although I don't read that much of it. I'll come on to some more fantasy in a moment that I also chose. And also history, of course, which I enjoy, historical fiction. So that, I think, looks really interesting. So that is on my to be read pile over this summer. And when I get round to that one, I will let you know what I think. So there's that one. And then, speaking of fantasy, I then picked up this one, which is by Terry Brooks, The Dark Legacy of Shannara. It's book one. I don't know whether you've read Terry Brooks before. He famously wrote the Shannara series, or Shannara. I read, I think, one of those. I then read, he also wrote some books called, which I think started with Running with the Demon. I read each of those books, really, really enjoyed them, but it was ages ago, at least a decade ago, if not more, that I read those books. So when I was in Waterstones, I thought, I'll go and browse, see what books are on the shelf here for Terry Brooks, and I spotted this, which is a shorter, newer trilogy that he's written, and I thought, why not? I really enjoyed his books before, so I'm going to try this one. This is book one in the Legacy, The Dark Legacy, Wards of Fairy. So I'm really looking forward to reading that one. And then, which brings me nicely I then went straight, literally within 10 minutes of leaving Waterstones. I thought, I'll just see what they've got on in the works, you know, and they do the 3 for £5. So I went in there and look, there was this one, which is book 3. I looked for book 2. They didn't have book 2. So I picked up book 3 in there, which is kind of committing me to the trilogy now, but I'm pretty sure after I read 1, I will want to read 2 and 3. This one's Witch Wraith. So this is the 3rd book. So I didn't even look at the blurb for that because I want to read 1 first and then see where that one takes me. So also in the 3 for £5, I bought a book which was a present from my mum in there. She loves thrillers, murders, so I picked up one of those, which I've given to her, which I'm sure once she's read it, I will get back to read anyway. And I also picked up a Jean Plaidy, Defenders of the Faith, historical fiction. I bought a Jean Plaidy in the works a couple of months ago. It's still on my to be read pile, but I'm figuring I'll enjoy it, so I picked up another while I saw it in there. This one is around the Tudor succession, which again, I enjoyed the period in British history. So I'm looking forward to that one. It speaks about the Inquisition, Spain as well. So I think that one's going to be absolutely fascinating. So I will look forward to that. So then you're probably thinking, okay, she's got book 1, she's got book 3. As it was my birthday, I had an Amazon voucher, which has all been spent now. And the first thing that I had to therefore buy with my Amazon voucher was book 2, because I need it now, don't I? So I've got book 2 as well in that trilogy. So I've committed to an entire trilogy without reading the first one, but I am sure, it being Terry Brooks, I will really enjoy it. These may well be where I go next on my reading pile. I'm not sure. I don't tend to commit. I kind of buy loads of books. I've got lots and lots of books still that I have yet to read, and yet I'm still buying more books. And then I finish a book, I meander over to my bookshelf and see which one I fancy next. At the moment, I'll come on in a second to the book that I'm reading at the moment, which is also one that I had in the last couple of weeks. But at the moment, I am leaning towards reading these ones. However, that does remind me, something else that I spent my credit on, my Amazon credit, was a couple of pre-orders as well. So I can't show you those yet. But I pre-ordered Erika Johansson's Invasion of the Tearling. I really enjoyed The Queen of the Tearling, which I read earlier this year. So I pre-ordered that. That's out, I think, next week. So it kind of depends on what happens first. I probably will finish the book I'm reading first. So that being the case, I might not want to commit to starting on a trilogy because I know that I will want to read Invasion of the Tearling as soon as it comes. So I don't know. I might read something else in the meantime. I also, while I think of it, pre-ordered Sarah MacLean's latest book as well, which comes out, I think, the end of August. I always pre-order Sarah MacLean, Julia Quinn, Eloisa James. When they have books out, I pre-order them because I know that I'll just enjoy those straight away. So I also pre-ordered that with my credit whilst I think of it. I also bought this. This is not as exciting unless you're really into your empire or your history, your European history. I'm assuming that it's European history. Yeah, it's mainly Western imperialism. This book probably isn't that exciting, so I will kind of swiftly move past that one. This one is for my Open University history module, which is all empire, 1492 to 1975. Which starts, well, October, but hopefully I'll get cracking on it in September. So I've ordered that just in readiness for it, whilst I had a little bit of credit in Amazon. And then the last book that I have had this month was a birthday present. I asked for this. My husband got me this one. Lucy Diamond, One Night in Italy. As you can see, my bookmark's in it. I started this one yesterday. I read Summer at Shell Cottage at the start of this year, which was my first Lucy Diamond book. I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the character development, the storyline, really drew me in. I read it quite quickly. So I was on the lookout for another one, and being as I love Italy, this one appealed to me. And yeah, as you can see, I'm that far in. So far, so good. It's as the other one was I'm really enjoying getting to know the characters and their weaving together and their lives and seeing how they're getting on. So yeah, this one I'm enjoying so far. Love this new book. I also love, as you probably noticed as well, I read quite a few different genres. I enjoy moving from different genre to different genre generally after I finish a book. So I did go from this spooky haunted house story straight onto this one, and then, as I say, I'll probably then dip into fantasy, whether that be the Terry Brooks ones or the Invasion of the Tearling. I'm not sure yet. I might even sneak to this one because I could probably, it's not very big, I could probably fit that in before my next one arrives in the next week or so. So that's me, that's it. I've had, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, not as interesting, I know, 5, 6, 7, those 8 books then this month, adding to my pile. I'm really looking forward to reading them. I've already read 2, so that's good, just another 6 to read, and then there's all the other ones on my bookshelves as well. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know if you've read any of these, or based on these, if you've got any recommendations. I always love to hear them. I'm always buying new books, as you can probably gather. That would be fabulous. And do remember to subscribe as well. Today, also on the blog, it is Papery Peep. So I'm sharing some of the stationery and papery purchases that I have had this month, what I've been reading this month as well, in addition to these. And I do run that on my blog the last Wednesday of every month, where I invite people to come along, see what I've been doing with paper. But also, if you have a blog or a YouTube channel, you can link up blogs and vlogs there as well. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.